Imagine this: you're standing in your kitchen, preparing that avocado toast everyone says is so healthy for your heart, completely unaware that the way you're eating it could be sending your blood pressure dangerously high. In fact, thousands of seniors over 65 unknowingly consume avocado in ways that sabotage their blood pressure control, undoing the very benefits they're seeking. But here's the hopeful truth: when you understand the 5 specific preparation and consumption mistakes that raise blood pressure, and make simple corrections, avocado becomes one of the most powerful foods for maintaining healthy cardiovascular function well into your 80s and beyond. This might sound contradictory, but a comprehensive 2024 study from the American Heart Association analyzed blood pressure outcomes in 1,900 seniors who consumed avocados regularly and discovered something that shocked cardiologists: avocado's blood pressure effects depend almost entirely on how it's prepared, when it's eaten, what it's combined with, and how much is consumed. The difference between blood pressure reduction and blood pressure elevation comes down to 5 critical mistakes most seniors make without realizing it. So let's count down from number 5 to number 1, the 5 reasons avocado raises blood pressure when eaten incorrectly, and the precise solutions that transform it into your cardiovascular ally. Number 5, blood pressure mistake: adding excessive salt to avocado. Let's begin with the most common and most easily correctable mistake: adding salt to avocado, which transforms a naturally low-sodium, potassium-rich food into a blood pressure-elevating combination that undermines cardiovascular health. Here's what catches most seniors off guard: a plain avocado contains only 7 milligrams of sodium naturally, virtually nothing. But the moment you sprinkle salt on your avocado toast, add it to guacamole, or seasoned sliced avocado, you can easily add 200 to 400 milligrams of sodium in a single serving. That might not sound like much, but for seniors over 65, it's enough to cause measurable blood pressure increases. A 2023 study from Johns Hopkins Hypertension Center tracked 680 seniors who consumed avocado regularly. Those who added salt to their avocado preparations showed average blood pressure increases of 6 to 8 millimeters of mercury systolic within just 2 weeks of daily consumption. Meanwhile, seniors who ate the same amount of avocado without added salt showed average blood pressure decreases of 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury systolic, a swing of 10 to 13 points based solely on salt addition. The mechanism reveals why this matters so critically after age 65. Sodium causes your body to retain water, increasing blood volume. More blood flowing through the same vessels creates higher pressure against artery walls, the definition of elevated blood pressure. But aging amplifies sodium's effects dramatically. After 65, your kidneys eliminate sodium less efficiently than in younger years. You've lost 30 to 40% of kidney filtering capacity. The sodium you consume stays in your system longer, retaining more water and elevating blood pressure more substantially. Additionally, blood vessel elasticity decreases with age. Arteries become stiffer, less able to expand when blood volume increases, so the same amount of sodium causes higher pressure in aging vessels than it would in youthful, flexible ones. Many seniors unknowingly sabotage their blood pressure through seemingly innocent additions. A dash of table salt on avocado toast adds 155 mg sodium. Mixing avocado into store-bought salsa, which contains 200 to 300 mg sodium per quarter cup, compounds the problem. Adding avocado to sandwiches with deli meat, 300 to 500 mg sodium per serving, creates a sodium overload that can spike blood pressure 10 to 15 points within hours. The tragedy is that avocado's natural composition should lower blood pressure. It contains 975 mg of potassium per medium fruit, a mineral that helps your kidneys eliminate sodium and relaxes blood vessel walls. This potassium to sodium ratio is what makes plain avocado cardiovascular protective. But when you add salt, you destroy this beneficial ratio, overwhelming the potassium benefit with sodium's pressure-raising effect. Here's your blood pressure protecting correction strategy. Never add salt to avocado in any form: no table salt, no sea salt, no Himalayan pink salt. The natural flavor of ripe avocado is creamy and mild, it doesn't need salt enhancement. Instead, use these salt-free flavor enhancers. Fresh lime or lemon juice adds brightness without sodium, black pepper provides subtle heat, garlic powder, not garlic salt, adds savory depth, cumin or paprika contributes warm, earthy notes, and fresh herbs like cilantro, basil, or parsley provide aromatic complexity. For guacamole, rely on onions, tomatoes, jalapenos, cilantro, and lime juice for flavor, traditional ingredients that need no salt when fresh and properly balanced. Read labels carefully on any prepared foods you combine with avocado. Choose low sodium or no salt added versions of salsa, beans, bread, and other accompaniments. It's a small change, but it wakes your body's natural blood pressure regulation again, allowing avocado's potassium to work as nature intended, promoting healthy pressure instead of undermining it. Number 4, blood pressure mistake, consuming avocado with tyramine-rich foods. Now we encounter something that surprises most people. Combining avocado with certain foods creates a tyramine overload that can trigger sudden, dangerous blood pressure spikes, particularly in seniors taking specific medications. Here's the hidden problem. Avocados contain moderate levels of tyramine, an amino acid derivative that forms naturally when proteins break down. In isolation, avocado's tyramine content rarely causes problems. But when you combine avocado with other tyramine-rich foods in the same meal, you create a cumulative effect that can elevate blood pressure dangerously, especially for those on MAO inhibitor medications. A revealing 2023 study from the University of Michigan Cardiology Department tracked blood pressure patterns in 540 seniors who regularly combined avocado with aged cheeses, cured meats, or fermented foods. Within 60 to 90 minutes of these combination meals, 34% experienced blood pressure elevations of 15 to 25 mm of mercury systolic, increases large enough to trigger headaches, dizziness, and in several cases, hypertensive urgency requiring medical intervention. The mechanism involves how your body processes tyramine. Normally, the enzyme monoamine oxidase, MAO, in your digestive tract and liver breaks down tyramine quickly, preventing accumulation. But several factors interfere with this process after age 65. First, MAO enzyme activity decreases naturally with aging. You produce 20 to 30% less MAO at 70 than you did at 40, meaning tyramine gets metabolized more slowly. Second, many seniors take medications that inhibit MAO enzymes, including certain antidepressants, phenelzyne, tranylcypromine, and Parkinson's medications, selegiline, razagiline. Third, when you consume multiple tyramine sources in one meal, you overwhelm even normal MAO capacity. When tyramine accumulates in your bloodstream, it triggers the release of norepinephrine, a powerful neurotransmitter that constricts blood vessels and increases heart rate. Blood pressure spikes suddenly and substantially. Seniors describe sudden, severe headaches, particularly at the back of the head, racing heartbeat or palpitations, facial flushing and sweating, and in severe cases, chest tightness or shortness of breath. A group of seniors in a Boston health community experienced this dangerous interaction firsthand. Several members had started a weekly brunch tradition featuring avocado toast topped with aged cheddar cheese and smoked salmon, 3 tyramine-rich foods combined in one meal. Within weeks, multiple members experienced severe headaches and blood pressure spikes after these brunches. One 73-year-old woman's blood pressure reached 198/116, dangerously high, requiring emergency treatment. Their cardiologist identified the tyramine overload from combining these foods. When they modified the recipe to include only avocado, removing the aged cheese and smoked salmon, the blood pressure spikes stopped completely. Same avocado benefit, without the dangerous tyramine accumulation. Common tyramine-rich foods that should never be combined with avocado in the same meal include aged cheeses, cheddar, blue cheese, parmesan, brie, cured or smoked meats, salami, pepperoni, bacon, smoked salmon, fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, soy sauce, aged or fermented beverages, red wine, beer, aged spirits, and overripe bananas or other very ripe fruits. Here's your tyramine-safe protocol. If you eat avocado, pair it only with fresh, non-aged foods, fresh vegetables, fresh herbs, eggs, fresh chicken or fish, not cured/smoked, and whole grains without added tyramine-rich ingredients. If you take any MAO inhibitor medication, discuss avocado consumption with your doctor. Your medication may require you to follow a low tyramine diet, and even moderate tyramine foods like avocado need careful monitoring and portion control. Space tyramine-containing foods by at least 4 to 6 hours. If you have aged cheese at lunch, wait until dinner for avocado. This prevents accumulation. Monitor your blood pressure 60 to 90 minutes after meals containing avocado during your first 2 weeks of consumption. Identify any patterns of elevation that might indicate tyramine sensitivity. Consistency is what turns this from just a habit into your body's quiet repair signal. enjoying avocado's cardiovascular benefits without the blood pressure spikes that certain food combinations create. Number 3, blood pressure mistake, eating avocado too close to medication timing. Here's where timing becomes critical in ways most seniors never consider. Consuming avocado too close to when you take blood pressure medications can interfere with drug absorption and effectiveness, creating dangerous fluctuations in pressure control throughout the day. The issue centers on avocado's exceptionally high fat content, 22 to 24 grams per medium fruit. While these are healthy monounsaturated fats beneficial for cardiovascular health, they significantly slow gastric emptying and can interfere with how your body absorbs certain medications, particularly those designed to lower blood pressure. A groundbreaking 2024 study from Stanford Medical Center analyzed medication effectiveness in 720 seniors taking various antihypertensive drugs. Researchers found that those who consumed high-fat foods like avocado within 30 to 60 minutes before or after taking certain blood pressure medications showed 25 to 40% reduced drug absorption. The result? Blood pressure readings 12 to 18 millimeters of mercury higher during hours when medication should have been working most effectively. The mechanism involves several factors. Avocado's fat content slows the rate at which food moves from your stomach to your small intestine, where most medication absorption occurs. When you take your blood pressure medication with or shortly after eating avocado, the medication sits in your stomach longer, delaying absorption and reducing peak blood levels. This matters tremendously for medications like amlodipine, a calcium channel blocker, certain ACE inhibitors including captopril, and some beta blockers. These drugs are designed to reach specific blood concentrations at predictable times to maintain steady blood pressure control throughout 24 hours. When absorption is delayed or reduced, you get periods where blood pressure is inadequately controlled, spiking higher than intended, followed by periods where delayed absorption causes medication levels to peak unexpectedly, potentially dropping blood pressure too low. But there's another interaction that's equally concerning. Avocado contains compounds that can affect the cytochrome P450 enzyme system in your liver, the system responsible for metabolizing many medications. While this effect is much milder than grapefruit's notorious interaction, it can still alter blood levels of certain blood pressure medications, particularly those metabolized through specific CYP pathways. One patient, James, a 69-year-old taking amlodipine for hypertension, experienced this frustrating cycle for months. His blood pressure readings were erratic, well controlled in the morning, 118/76, but elevating by afternoon, 152/92, then dropping again by evening, 108/68. His cardiologist couldn't understand why the medication wasn't providing steady control. When a pharmacist asked detailed questions about James's eating schedule, the pattern became clear. James ate his daily avocado at 8 a.m., the exact same time he took his amlodipine. The avocado's fat was delaying and reducing medication absorption, causing poor blood pressure control for 6 to 8 hours, until the medication finally absorbed fully and worked too effectively, causing the evening drop. His pharmacist recommended separating avocado and medication by 3 to 4 hours. James shifted his amlodipine to 6 a.m., 2 hours before breakfast, and ate his avocado at lunch, noon. Within 1 week, his blood pressure stabilized beautifully, steady readings of 122/78 to 128/82 throughout the day. Here's your medication timing protocol for optimal blood pressure control. Take your blood pressure medications at a consistent time daily, preferably on an empty stomach or with only water, unless your doctor specifically instructs otherwise for that particular medication. Wait at least 2 hours after taking medication before consuming avocado. This allows adequate time for medication absorption without fat interference. Alternatively, eat avocado 3 to 4 hours before your medication dose. If you take multiple blood pressure medications at different times, plan your avocado consumption during the longest gap between doses. For example, if you take morning and evening medications, consume avocado at midday. Keep a simple log for 2 weeks. Document medication timing, avocado consumption time, and blood pressure readings at various times of day. Share this with your doctor to identify any patterns suggesting interaction. Never adjust medication timing on your own. Work with your doctor or pharmacist to find the optimal schedule that accommodates both medication effectiveness and your preferred eating patterns. Most people never realize how quickly the body responds once it finally gets what it needs when it needs it, in this case, blood pressure medication absorbed properly at the right times, working synergistically with avocado's nutrients rather than being blocked by them. Number 2, blood pressure mistake, consuming excessive portions causing caloric overload. We now reach something that cardiologists are increasingly concerned about: the progressive weight gain that occurs when seniors consume large avocado portions without adjusting total calorie intake, creating the cascade of metabolic changes that elevate blood pressure chronically. Here's what catches health-conscious seniors completely off guard: 1 medium avocado contains 240 to 250 calories. While the nutrients are valuable, healthy fats, fiber, vitamins, minerals, these calories still count toward your daily total. And after age 65, your body needs approximately 150 to 200 fewer calories daily than it did at age 50 due to decreased muscle mass and slowed metabolism. When you add a whole avocado daily to your existing diet without removing other calories, simple mathematics creates a problem. That's 1,680 extra calories per week, 7,200 per month. Since 1 pound of body weight equals approximately 3,500 calories, this surplus alone creates 2 pounds of weight gain monthly, 24 pounds annually if uncorrected. A sobering 2023 study from Harvard School of Public Health tracked 840 seniors who added daily avocado consumption for cardiovascular health. After 6 months, those who added avocado without dietary compensation gained an average of 11.3 pounds, and their blood pressure, rather than improving, increased by an average of 8 mm of mercury systolic and 5 mm of mercury diastolic. The mechanism connecting weight gain to blood pressure involves multiple pathways that become increasingly impactful after 65. Excess weight, particularly visceral fat around internal organs, secretes inflammatory compounds and hormones that damage blood vessel walls, reducing their flexibility and ability to regulate pressure. For many seniors, this becomes the turning point, understanding that even healthy foods contribute to blood pressure problems when portion sizes exceed metabolic needs. Think of your metabolism like a wood stove that needs less fuel as it ages. The same amount of wood that heated your house efficiently at 50 creates excessive heat and waste at 75. Your body's calorie stove works similarly: it needs less fuel, and excess gets stored as fat. But the blood pressure impact extends beyond just the pounds. Weight gain after 65 preferentially accumulates as visceral fat, the dangerous abdominal fat that wraps around your liver, pancreas, heart, and kidneys. This fat is metabolically active, secreting compounds that activate the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, causing sodium retention and vasoconstriction. Increase sympathetic nervous system activity, raising heart rate and vessel constriction. Promote insulin resistance, which elevates blood sugar and damages blood vessel linings. Generate inflammatory cytokines that stiffen arteries and reduce nitric oxide production needed for vessel relaxation. Research from the Framingham Heart Study shows that for every 10 pounds of weight gain after age 60, systolic blood pressure increases by an average of 3 to 5 mm of mercury. Lose 10 pounds, and you typically see a 4 to 6 mm of mercury decrease. The relationship is remarkably consistent and reversible. Moreover, excess weight increases the workload on your heart. Your cardiovascular system must pump blood through a larger body mass, through more tissue, creating higher baseline pressure just to maintain adequate circulation. It's like asking a pump designed for a small garden to suddenly irrigate a full farm. It works harder, pressure builds, and eventually, the system fails. A comprehensive analysis from Mayo Clinic found that weight gain is the single most modifiable risk factor for hypertension in seniors. More controllable than age, more responsive than genetics, more impactful than most dietary factors when addressed properly. Here's your weight-protecting, blood pressure-lowering protocol. Never add avocado to your existing diet, use strategic substitution instead. Replace other fats to maintain calorie balance, swap mayonnaise for mashed avocado in chicken or tuna salad, saving 60 calories per tablespoon. Replace butter on toast with thin avocado slices, saving 100 calories. Use avocado instead of sour cream on baked potatoes, saving 50 calories per serving, and substitute avocado for cheese in salads, saving 80 to 100 calories per ounce. Measure portions precisely with measuring spoons or a food scale. 1/4 of a medium avocado equals approximately 60 calories and 2 tablespoons when mashed. This modest portion provides meaningful nutrition, healthy fats, potassium for blood pressure regulation, fiber for satiety, without caloric excess. Weigh yourself weekly, same day and time, ideally first thing in the morning after bathroom use, before eating. If you notice 2 to 3 pounds gained over 2 weeks, reduce avocado frequency or portion size immediately. Weight creeps up gradually, catching it early prevents the blood pressure cascade. Track your total daily calorie intake for 1 week every 3 months using a simple food diary. This periodic accounting prevents calorie creep that leads to weight gain. Most seniors need 1,600 to 2,000 calories daily depending on size and activity level. Avocado should fit within this budget, not exceed it. This single change can shift the way your body heals itself overnight, maintaining healthy weight that keeps blood vessels flexible, heart workload manageable, and blood pressure in the ranges that protect against stroke, heart attack, and kidney disease. Number 1, blood pressure mistake: eating avocado prepared with inflammatory oils and additives. And now we arrive at the most insidious and most damaging blood pressure mistake, one that transforms avocado from a cardiovascular protector into a blood pressure elevator through the cooking oils, condiments, and processed ingredients commonly combined with it. Let me share a story that reveals why this matters so desperately. Meet Linda, 67, a former nurse from California who took her cardiovascular health seriously. After her doctor warned about borderline hypertension, 138/88, Linda researched natural approaches and learned about avocado's blood pressure benefits, the potassium, healthy fats, and compounds that promote vessel flexibility. She started eating avocado daily, believing she was supporting her heart health. But she prepared it in ways that seemed normal: avocado toast made with commercial bread containing high fructose corn syrup and preservatives, guacamole mixed with store-bought chips fried in inflammatory vegetable oils, avocado salads dressed with commercial dressings containing soybean oil and added sugars, and avocado smoothies blended with sweetened yogurt and fruit juice. For 3 months, Linda felt virtuous about her healthy eating. But when she returned to her doctor, the news shocked her: blood pressure had risen to 148/92, worse than before starting avocado. Her doctor, confused, ordered additional tests. Cholesterol had worsened. Inflammatory markers, C-reactive protein, had increased. Weight had climbed 6 pounds despite eating healthy. It wasn't until Linda consulted with a nutritionist trained in functional medicine that the truth emerged. The avocado itself wasn't the problem, it was everything she was combining it with. The inflammatory oils, refined carbohydrates, added sugars, and preservatives in her avocado preparations were creating chronic inflammation that elevated blood pressure despite avocado's beneficial properties. Here's the science that explains this profound effect. Chronic low-grade inflammation is now recognized as a primary driver of hypertension, especially in seniors. Inflammatory compounds damage the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of blood vessels that produces nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for keeping vessels relaxed and flexible. When you consume omega-6 rich vegetable oils, soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, oils used in most commercial chips, crackers, breads, and dressings, you trigger inflammatory cascades in your body. These oils contain high ratios of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids, and when this ratio becomes imbalanced, above 4:1, inflammatory cytokines increase, oxidative stress intensifies, and blood vessel function deteriorates. A landmark 2024 study from Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health analyzed dietary patterns and blood pressure outcomes in 1,200 seniors. Those who consumed avocado prepared with or alongside foods containing inflammatory oils showed average blood pressure increases of 9 mm of mercury systolic over 6 months, despite avocado's theoretical benefits. Meanwhile, seniors who consumed the same amount of avocado prepared simply with whole foods and anti-inflammatory ingredients showed average blood pressure decreases of 6 mm of mercury systolic. That's a 15-point swing based purely on preparation methods, the difference between blood pressure that's controlled and blood pressure that requires medication. The mechanism involves multiple inflammatory pathways. Omega-6 oils, when consumed in excess, are metabolized into arachidonic acid, which your body converts into inflammatory prostaglandins and leukotrienes. These compounds cause vasoconstriction, blood vessel tightening, that raises pressure, endothelial dysfunction reducing nitric oxide production, increased oxidative stress damaging vessel walls, sodium retention as inflammation affects kidney function, and sympathetic nervous system activation elevating heart rate and vascular tone. But the damage extends beyond just oils. Commercial avocado products and common preparation methods add other inflammatory triggers. High fructose corn syrup in breads and condiments drives insulin resistance and raises blood pressure through multiple mechanisms. Artificial preservatives and stabilizers trigger immune responses and inflammatory cascades. Excessive omega-6 in conventional chips and crackers compounds the inflammatory oil effect. Added sugars in dressings and marinades elevate blood glucose, which damages blood vessel walls, and refined carbohydrates in white bread or tortillas cause insulin spikes that promote sodium retention. Think of your blood vessels like a garden hose. When new and well maintained, the hose is flexible, smooth inside, capable of handling varying water pressure. But coat the inside with sticky, inflammatory compounds day after day, and the hose becomes rigid, narrowed, prone to bursting under pressure. That's exactly what inflammatory oils and additives do to your aging blood vessels. They transform them from flexible channels into rigid, dysfunctional pipes where pressure inevitably rises. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who reduced consumption of omega-6 vegetable oils while increasing anti-inflammatory fats, from olive oil, avocado, wild fish, showed blood pressure reductions of 8 to 12 millimeters of mercury within just 12 weeks, effects comparable to some blood pressure medications. Here's your complete anti-inflammatory, blood pressure protecting preparation protocol. Bread and base choices. Never use commercial processed breads. Choose sprouted whole grain bread with minimal ingredients, just grain, water, salt, sourdough bread made traditionally with no additives, or rice cakes for a grain-free option. Read ingredient lists ruthlessly. Avoid anything containing soybean oil, canola oil, high fructose corn syrup, or ingredients you can't pronounce. Chip and cracker alternatives. Avoid all conventional chips fried in vegetable oils. Make your own by baking sliced sweet potatoes, beets, or zucchini with olive oil, or use raw vegetables like carrots, celery, cucumber, and bell peppers as guacamole vehicles. These provide crunch and satisfaction without inflammatory oils. Dressing and sauce preparation. Never use bottled dressings or commercial sauces. Make simple combinations using extra virgin olive oil as the base fat, fresh lemon or lime juice for acidity, fresh herbs and spices for flavor, and minimal salt. A basic vinaigrette uses 3 parts olive oil to 1 part acid, lemon/lime/vinegar, plus herbs and black pepper. Avocado toast perfection. Toast sprouted grain bread, spread with mashed avocado, no salt needed if the avocado is ripe and flavorful, top with sliced tomato, fresh basil, black pepper, and a squeeze of lemon. This combination provides anti-inflammatory compounds that work synergistically with avocado's nutrients to lower blood pressure. Guacamole recipe. Mash ripe avocado with fresh lime juice, diced tomatoes, finely chopped red onion, fresh cilantro, minced jalapeno, optional, and black pepper. No salt needed. The lime, onion, and jalapeno provide flavor complexity. Serve with raw vegetables instead of chips. Smoothie guidelines. Blend avocado with unsweetened almond milk, not juice, frozen berries for natural sweetness, leafy greens like spinach, and plain Greek yogurt. Avoid added sugars, sweetened yogurt, or fruit juices that spike blood sugar and promote inflammation. Oil replacement strategy. In any recipe calling for vegetable oil, substitute extra virgin olive oil for cold preparations, or avocado oil for cooking. These oils maintain healthy omega-6 to omega-3 ratios and provide anti-inflammatory compounds that support blood vessel health. Linda transformed her approach after learning these principles. She started making avocado toast on sprouted bread with only olive oil, lemon, and fresh vegetables. She replaced chips with raw vegetables for guacamole. She made simple olive oil-based dressings for her avocado salads. Within 6 weeks, her blood pressure dropped to 128/82. After 3 months, it stabilized at 122/78, normal range without medication. Her inflammatory markers normalized. The 6 pounds she'd gained disappeared. Her doctor was astounded by the transformation achieved through preparation changes alone, with the same amount of avocado. I thought I was being healthy, Linda reflected. I was eating avocado every day, like all the articles recommended. But I was destroying its benefits by preparing it with foods that caused inflammation. Once I cleaned up what I combined it with, everything changed. My blood pressure, my energy, my whole health shifted, just from changing how I prepared the same food. And that's why this isn't just a tip about cooking methods, it's a quiet revolution happening inside your body when you finally remove the inflammatory triggers that have been silently elevating your blood pressure for years. You're not just eating avocado, you're creating an anti-inflammatory, blood vessel-supporting meal that works with your cardiovascular system instead of against it. The healthy fats in avocado can finally reduce inflammation as intended. The potassium can regulate blood pressure without being overwhelmed by sodium and inflammatory compounds. The antioxidants can protect blood vessels instead of fighting a losing battle against inflammatory oils and additives. Everything works together because you've removed the saboteurs and allowed nutrition to perform its healing work. Before we bring all 5 blood pressure mistakes together, if this information is helping you understand why avocado affects different people differently, would you tap the like button? Your small click helps this channel reach more seniors who need this cardiovascular wisdom. And in the comments, tell us, which of these mistakes have you been making? We read every story. Let's weave all 5 blood pressure mistakes together, because understanding how they interconnect reveals why avocado becomes either your greatest cardiovascular ally or a surprising blood pressure threat. The salt addition mistake teaches us that sodium destroys avocado's natural potassium to sodium ratio, transforming a blood pressure-lowering food into a pressure-raising one. The tyramine combination error shows us that food pairings matter. Combining avocado with aged cheeses, cured meats, or fermented foods creates dangerous accumulations that spike blood pressure suddenly. The medication timing problem reveals that avocado's high fat content can interfere with blood pressure drug absorption, creating erratic control throughout the day. The portion excess demonstrates that even healthy foods cause weight gain when consumed beyond metabolic needs, and that weight gain invariably elevates blood pressure through multiple mechanisms. And the inflammatory preparation mistake proves that what you combine with avocado matters more than the avocado itself. Inflammatory oils, processed ingredients, and refined carbohydrates create the chronic inflammation that damages blood vessels and drives hypertension. Here's your complete blood pressure protecting avocado protocol. Preparation: always plain or with anti-inflammatory ingredients only, olive oil, lemon, fresh vegetables, herbs, black pepper. Never salt, processed foods, inflammatory oils, or commercial condiments. Portion: 1/4 to 1/3 of a medium avocado per serving, 3 to 4 times per week maximum. Timing: separate from blood pressure medications by 2 to 3 hours minimum. Combinations: never with aged cheeses, cured meats, fermented foods, or other high tyramine items in the same meal. Caloric balance: use substitution strategy, replace other fats rather than adding avocado on top of existing calories. Your results timeline when following this protocol: within 1 week, blood pressure typically shows initial improvements of 3 to 5 millimeters of mercury as inflammatory load decreases. By 2 weeks, medication absorption stabilizes if timing was previously problematic, creating more consistent pressure control. By 1 month, weight stabilizes or decreases if portion control and substitution strategy is followed, leading to further blood pressure improvements of 4 to 6 millimeters of mercury. By 3 months, comprehensive benefits emerge: sustained blood pressure reductions averaging 8 to 12 millimeters of mercury systolic, improved vessel flexibility markers, reduced inflammatory markers, and often the ability to reduce blood pressure medication doses under doctor supervision. It's not about whether to eat avocado, it's about how to eat it in ways that support rather than sabotage your cardiovascular system. The difference between blood pressure control and blood pressure chaos lies entirely in these 5 corrections. And if you've watched until now, it means you're committed to understanding the nuances that separate helpful nutrition from harmful habits. That discernment protects your cardiovascular health far more than simply following general advice ever could. In our next video, we'll reveal the 5 best morning rituals for naturally lowering blood pressure, simple habits that work synergistically with proper avocado consumption to optimize cardiovascular function. Your body is wiser than you think. It responds precisely to what you give it, how you prepare it, when you consume it. Avocado isn't inherently good or bad for blood pressure. It becomes one or the other based entirely on your choices surrounding its consumption. The 5 mistakes we've explored aren't failures, they're opportunities to refine your approach, to move from unconscious eating to informed nourishment. Linda discovered this truth through rising blood pressure that confused her doctor. You now have the wisdom to avoid her experience and instead enjoy the blood pressure benefits that proper avocado consumption provides. Salt, tyramine combinations, medication timing, excessive portions, inflammatory preparations, these are the saboteurs that transform superfood into blood pressure threat. Remove them, and avocado becomes what it should be, a potassium-rich, anti-inflammatory, vessel-supporting food that helps regulate pressure naturally. Which of these 5 mistakes resonated most with your current habits? And which correction will you implement first? Share in the comments. Your experience might be exactly what another senior needs to finally achieve the blood pressure control they've been seeking. Thank you for trusting Senior Guide with your cardiovascular health. We're honored to provide the nuanced, science-backed guidance that turns general nutrition advice into personalized healing strategies. Remember, small changes in how you prepare and consume foods can create profound changes in how your body responds. That's not just nutrition, that's precision medicine through food. See you in the next video, and until then, stay strong, stay curious, and stay young at heart.